Angelica, Enter into the Dream, Book 1, by Anissa Perez. Divine Star. The eraser saw Angelica's star, and they knew that she was a dreamwaker. They found Angelica's house, saw her through the window. She was dreaming, and in her dream, she could see them coming. Without realizing how she did it, she commanded the ground, saying, "May my enemies be gone." Suddenly, the water of a small lake nearby started to rise. The water got higher around their ankles, and the erasers ran away scared. She woke up. Grandmother came to her. Grandmother explained her gift. She said that they had come from a special tribe of people who carry this gift. They are dreamwakers. What happens in the dream world can be controlled by dreamwakers. Her own mother had been lost in the dream world, and that's why she was not here now. This gift is something special you have. This gift can help others and can even make the world around you better. No matter what happens to you, you must always believe in yourself. You have this gift to help you. As God, who is the Creator, uses His words to create things into existence, you too can command the dream world. God gave you this gift to fulfill your purpose on earth. Walking to the gift. Angelica began to feel anxious at first. She didn't understand this gift, but she could talk to her grandmother and pray, asking for God's help. One night, she fell asleep. She had a dream that a boy was crying. She didn't know what to do. Then she took his hand and returned him to his parents. The boy stopped crying, and his parents were happy. After that, she began to believe in herself in the dream world. When she awoke, she felt happy. She told her grandmother, "Now I can do it." "To understand your gift, you need to understand yourself first," her grandmother replied. "You were made in the image of God. Nothing shall be impossible for you." Fulfilling purpose. The next night, in her dreams, she could hear a waterfall. The dream vision blurred the waterfall, but then it became clearer and clearer. As she looked around, she saw an animal. It was small and furry. As she walked closer, she could see that it was a cat, cowering near the edge of a tall waterfall. The water seemed to be deep. There was a tiny hole in the rock face where the cat seemed to be stuck. She watched the cat try to take a step to get out of the hole, but rocks crumbled beneath its feet. She stepped closer. As she approached, she could feel that the rocks underneath her feet were also slippery, but she knew she had to help this cat. She looked down and saw a new belt across her waist. She got an idea to wrap the belt around a nearby tree and anchor it to herself. She carefully picked her way across the slippery stones until she reached the cat. She said, "You're safe. I'm here for you." She reached up to embrace him and safely bring him down to the ground. As she placed him down, she saw a family of cats peeking their heads out from behind a tree, watching her. The cats ran to meet each other, rubbing noses and chirping happily. Then they dashed back into the forest, but the one smaller cat stopped to look at her. It said, "Thank you," then turned and ran with the others. She watched them go, but behind her, a shadow ominously groaned in disappointment. She awoke, and it was morning. Angelica got ready for school. On the playground, she saw her friend Amanda. As she walked over to say hi, she could see that Amanda was upset and crying to another friend that she had nightmares and didn't want to sleep in the dark at night. Angelica wanted to help, so she told her about her gift. "I want to help you. God's love removes fear. God loves you, and He is always there to help you," Angelica said to her. That night, as Amanda fell asleep, Angelica fell asleep at the same time, and she entered the girl's dream. An eraser was causing dark shadows in her room. Angelica entered into the dream and fought that dark shadow. She looked down and remembered the belt across her waist. She said, "I had the belt of truth to face you. You can no longer come against my friend Amanda." With the belt of truth, she used the powerful words, "Perfect love removes fear." She took her beacon of light and shined it on the dark shadow. The darkness couldn't overshadow the light. She defeated the dark shadow. The eraser was removed from Amanda's dreams forever. Remembering who you are. As she grew stronger in her dreams, she became comfortable. She felt good and happy with her life with her grandmother. She felt so comfortable that she started to forget about helping others. One night in her dreams, she had a vision. Her mother appeared to her and said, "Although you have a great life, never forget to help those in need. That's the main purpose of your gift. There are other kids getting lost in the dream world, and they are afraid to go to sleep in the dark." Angelica hadn't noticed until this vision. She picked up again to focus on the dream world's need for help. She asked herself, "How can I help more people?" Words of wisdom flashed in her head. By determination and the decision to walk in the fruit of love, you will help. She went forward, and an increased strength came to her. She opened her eyes and said, "I'm ready." Destiny helpers. Angelica had her full armor on. She was in a forest and felt afraid. She said to herself, "I can't do this alone." Instantly, she heard a booming voice. "You are never alone. We have been waiting for you. There are many of us hiding underground, waiting to defeat the same enemy, the dream erasers." She commanded the voice she heard to come forth. It was a tiny squirrel speaking with that loud voice. She was stunned. Noticing his tiny size, she said, "Oh no, we are really in need of help now." The squirrel just replied, "Trust me and follow me." The squirrel's name was Todd. He said, "I will lead you to the others." They walked through a narrow path that was hard to pass. Green leaves and vines reached across to cover the path. The closer they got to the ground cave, the harder the path became, closing in on them. Todd panicked. He began yelling at Angelica, "We must hurry. If I don't make it, just keep to the right on the path until you see a blue rock." Angelica was determined. She said, "I don't leave my friends behind." A force began pushing the path narrower and narrower. Angelica took out the rope of courage. She caught Todd with it and pulled him towards her. Then she grabbed him and threw the rope of courage up into a tree and lifted herself from the path before it closed on them. They were both saved. They landed on a dry spot on the ground near a huge yellow rock. When they looked to the side, there it was, the blue rock. Todd hopped down and pressed the blue stone 3 times with his paw. It opened up and led them deep into a cave. Todd said, "Welcome to Eagle Fort." To Angelica's surprise, there was an eagle, a lion, a raven, a dove, and 2 firehawks waiting for them. "Let's begin. We are ready," Angelica replied. But silence covered the cave. "We can't," said the eagle, "defeat the dream erasers. We are outnumbered, not to mention they are more powerful." "What makes them more powerful?" replied Angelica. "If we let evil reign, good does nothing. Do what is right. It may not always feel right at first, but it will end right. Our enemies do not stop to attack because we leave them alone. Their nature is violent. Their only purpose is to destroy. We are prepared and wage war against them. Ask our Creator. We strengthen ourselves. We put on our armor, and we use our weapons of war to defend ourselves." She looked around, and they seemed hopeful. She continued, "Fire of encouragement, burn inside each of them." "We are ready," yelled Dove. "Hold on," replied Angelica. "Let's use our strategies and plans instead of walking into unknown territory." The next morning, they began practicing, flying and climbing Eagle Fort, seeing the enemy far off. The lion roared with rage. Angelica held tight to each piece of her armor. If you enjoyed this book, you can request it at your local bookstore or simply order it at trilogy.tv or amazon.com.